Welcome everybody. Today's class is going to be chair yoga, which you can also do in a wheelchair. I will say, if you're going to be doing this in the wheelchair, please make sure that your wheels are locked. And some of the poses may require you to take off the armrests off the wheelchair. And to prevent a risk of falling, I would suggest that you belt yourself into the back of the wheelchair using a yoga belt if you have one, or any sort of safety restraint that you have available. Okay, so before we get started, I'd like to remind everybody to subscribe and also to like the video. So this way, hopefully I can keep myself afloat during this whole health crisis. And also in terms of props, down below I'm going to be listing a list of places where you can buy the props. The yoga chairs, the blocks, the belts, the bolsters, the blankets, everything, mats. And also, if you're interested, I also am offering some merchandise, T-shirts, which I will be having on sale in Etsy, which we have the India elephant, if you can see, which is all embroidered. I have the Namaste shirt, which I will show. I also have one that I'm wearing today, which is the Mendi Lotus, and a nice little lotus itself. Okay. But for today's class, you are going to need at least 2 mats. You're going to need a belt, blocks, and at least 2 chairs, okay? And if you're like me and you're rather short, you may need something else to support your feet in case your feet don't reach the floor, okay? So I have a little half block here, which is also available at the list of props that are down below. Okay, so for today's first pose, we're going to be doing Urdhva Hastasana, Urdhva meaning upward and Hasta being your hands. So for Urdhva Hastasana, you're going to need a belt. If you don't have a yoga belt, you could use any waist belt that has a buckle that's easily slidable. You don't want one that has that little kind of tooth that kind of goes through the belt, because those are a little too restrictive. So what you're going to do with your belt is you're actually going to buckle it closed. And make yourself a nice sizable loop, making sure that it's not twisted at all. You're going to size the loop for the width of your shoulders. So when you fold the loop in half, you want to have it go from shoulder to shoulder, outer corner to outer corner, okay? All right. So first pose, Urdhva Hastasana, you're going to do all these poses in the chair. So when you sit back in your chair, if you're like me, your feet don't quite reach, you're going to need to put something beneath your feet. A block, a blanket, something that will make your feet grounded, okay? Now the belt. Once you have your loop measured, you're going to put it on your wrists, okay? Now the first thing for Urdhva Hastasana is the inner arms have to roll towards the outer arms. So the direction of the arms is that way, to roll from the inner body towards the outer body. So I want you to turn your palms to face forward first, so your thumbs are out to the sides. Make sure your feet are firmly planted on the floor. Press the inner edges of your feet down more, okay? And now as you keep the width of the belt here, your hands, thumbs pointing away, I want you to slowly start to bring the arms overhead. This is just to open the shoulders first. So the inner arms, as you can see, are rolling towards the back of my head. Unfortunately, my arms are getting cut off, but my thumbs are pointing still out to the sides, and then I release down. Okay? Now, I want to point out something. So you stay where you are, but I'm going to turn my chair to the side. Because when you do this pose, you want to make sure not to overarch your back. So when I have my belt once again here, okay, I want you to watch the tailbone the top of the buttock has to go down to the chair, and I want to lift my sternum chest. So the sternum chest has to go up as the top of the buttock goes down. So you're going in two opposite directions. So now as I hold the belt, palms are still going to face up, thumbs out to the sides. Watch as I keep the top of the buttock down. I keep my sternum chest lifted. And then I work to keep those two actions going as I take the arms overhead. Still having my thumbs point out to the sides, but notice how straight my back is. I'm not looking like this, and I'm not looking like this, okay? Top of the buttock down, sternum chest lifted, and you take the arms up as much as they'll go. And then once again, release. Okay? Now, I'm going to turn my chair back to face you. Because now, when we do this pose one last time, now we're going to incorporate the sides of the chest here. So now as you firmly press the inner edges of the feet down, so the knees go slightly towards each other, tailbone down, so the top of the buttock is going towards the chair, your sternum chest is lifting above the belt, palms facing up. So now as you inhale again, bring in the arms slowly up, making sure not to throw your abdomen on your lap. Tailbone slightly forward, sternum chest lifted, inner arms rolling towards the outer arms. And now watch as I lift the sides of my trunk up. I'm going to use the arms to lift the side ribs so you can see how much more lift I get through the rib cage. And stay here. Inner feet pressing down, top of the buttock down, sternum chest lifted. And now the arms help to lift the rest of the chest. Lift the side chest up. And then release. Okay. Now you can put your belt off to the side. Now we're going to do a pose called Uttanasana. Uttana meaning intense stretch. So for this particular pose, you may want to have your blocks handy or anything else that you have at home that has some height to it, okay? Because now you're going to sit a little bit more forward in your chair. So wheelchair folks, make sure that your feet are either on the pedals or you are belted into the chair to support you that you don't come too far forward. Here you want to make sure your feet are pressing down in something to stabilize you, okay? Now you're going to have your knees wider apart, so they're going to be a little wider than your shoulders almost. Now here, what you're going to do is you're still going to get the top of the buttock to go down, your sternum chest to lift. Now, on an exhale, you're going to hinge forward. Let the sides of your waist go in between the legs, and then take your hands either onto your block. You pause here, keep your head and your chest up. And then after a few moments, keep pressing the inner feet down. Top of the buttock away from your lower back. Sternum chest lifted. And then if you're using the height, see if you can take the height down one notch. Pause here. So still inner feet pressing down, inner thighs going towards the groins, top of the buttock away from your waist, sternum chest lifted, blocks down one more level if possible. And then you see, maybe you can even take the hands down to the floor. And then you can bring your head in line with your tailbone. But keep the inner feet still pressing down. Inner arms still rolling towards the outer arms. And then to come back up, you use your blocks once again. One level. Pause. One more level. Pause. And then hands to the knees. Inhale and come on up. Now, the third pose that we're going to do today is called Adho Mukha Virasana. You're going to need two chairs for this particular pose. I'm going to turn my chair around so you have a much better idea of what we're going to be doing. So now, your two chairs, or a wheelchair and a chair, are going to be facing each other. So just as you did in the previous pose, where you came down with your hands to the floor, your feet are going to be wide again. You're still going to turn your big toes in, your heels slightly out, so the knees go in and the thighs go towards the groins. This keeps your lower back open. Now, from here, top of the buttock still goes down towards the chair. Your sternum chest is going to go in the opposite direction. Okay? Now, with the chair in front of you, you may have to push it a little bit further forward. So now as you start to hinge forward, you're here. So it's like the pose you just did. But notice how my back is relatively straight. I'm not letting my upper back round. Inner feet press down, top of the buttock goes down towards the chair, sternum chest is going in the opposite direction. And then what you're going to do here is now you can slowly walk your hands forward. Pause here. Still looking forward. And then maybe go a little further. Now I have to move my chair a little bit further forward. And then eventually you see how far you can come down. Inner arms still rolling towards your outer arms. The outer arms going down towards the floor. And then you see how far you can come down. Can you bring your ears in line with your arms? Inner feet still pressing down. Drawing the inner legs back. Top of the buttocks still moving down towards the chair. So your lower back stays open. Inner arms rolling towards your outer arms. And you stay. If this is too much of a challenge to come down this low, this is what you could do instead. I'm going to come up for a moment so I can pull the chair in a little bit closer and I can hold on to this bar here. And then I can walk my hands forward on the bar. So this way you're still getting that same stretch, but it's not as intense. A little harder on the shoulders, but you could always put a block here for your forehead. So this way it takes a little bit of the strain out of it. So still inner feet pressing down, top of the buttock towards the chair, sternum chest moving away from your knees so your spine stays long. And then when you're ready to come on out, walk your hands back towards your chair by the knees. Inhale, come up. And just take a moment just to feel the difference in the body. In the first 10 of yoga in the sutras is ahimsa, non-harming. So if something takes your breath away, stop, come out of it. Okay. Now, the next pose we're going to do is Parsva, Adho, Mukha, Virasana. Parsva meaning to the side. I'm going to turn my chair this way, but you're going to stay in the same direction you were. The only difference here is now, instead of your chair being directly in front of you, what you're going to do is you're going to come to the side. So if I go to the right side first, my toes are turned in, my heels are out. When I come forward, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands to the chair, and now I have to move my navel a little bit more towards my right knee as I reach out towards the chair. The feet are still pointing forward. Toes in, heels out. Inner feet are still grounding down. But now I'm going to move myself over my right leg more. Still reaching out with my arms, letting the sides of the ribs lift. Going back to that first pose you did. And relax your jaw, relax your eyes, and remember to breathe. So feel how the whole left side of your body stretches. And then to come on up, on an inhale, walk your hands back. Inhale, come back up. And then you're going to take your chair, you're going to move it over to the left side. So now once again, feet grounded, legs rolling, inner feet pressing down. You can kind of pigeon toe your feet a little bit. Top of the buttock down, sternum, chest lifted. And now as you start to turn your whole waist and chest over your inner left leg, then you're going to come forward. Take your hands to the chair. Keep your chest lifted, top of the buttock going down, and then you slowly walk your hands over the chair or on top of the chair, whatever feels better for you. So as you keep turning your abdomen over towards your inner left leg, keep the inner feet pressing down, top of the buttock going towards the chair, and now lengthen the right side of your waist and chest over your knee. Breathing, relaxing your eyes, relaxing your jaw. And then to come on up, inhale, lift your head and chest, walk your hands back. Come up to center again, and pause. And just breathe. Absorb the difference. Okay. The next pose, which is the fifth pose we're going to do, is Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Adho meaning down, Mukha meaning face, and Svan meaning dog. For this pose, you're going to need the chair or your wheelchair, and you're going to need a wall or a door, something that's flat and, of course, tall. Probably can use the back of the couch. All right. For this pose, you're going to face the wall. Now, the foot position is going to be exactly the same as you did before. Okay. You're still going to sit near the edge of the chair. If you have to, you're near the wall, so you're not really going to fall forward too far. So it's okay as long as your feet are planted. You may not need a belt on this one if you're in a wheelchair, but be cautious. Now, toes in, heels out, knees are still going to be wide apart. So now here, when you get the top of the buttock to go down, chest lifted, now you're going to take your hands to the wall. Okay, so you're going to be looking at the wall just above your fingertips, lifting your chest upward. So now as you start to come forward, you're hinging at the hip. You're going to walk your hands up, keep looking at your hands. So as you keep looking up at your hands, you feel how your back chest moves in. And as the back chest here moves in, get the tailbone to go down to the chair. And then bring your palms to the wall and see. Can you bring your ears in line with your arms? So let your sternum chest come forward towards the wall, but your tailbone slightly down, top of the buttock down. So as not to overarch your lower back. Still rolling your inner arms towards your outer arms. So if you find that difficult, turn your palms all the way out to the sides. So if you can't see my hands, instead of this forward, you're going to turn like this. So this way the inner arm rolls out. And just be here. Breathe into it. So feel the sides of your chest lift, sides of the rib cage lift, waist nice and long and open. Inner feet pressing down. And just breathe. Exhale into the pose. Letting your breath be fluid. And now to come on out, walk your hands, inhale, walk your hands down the wall. And rest. Next pose we're going to do is Virabhadrasana II. So now your chair is going to face me, okay? If you're in a wheelchair, the arms are still going to be off. You definitely want to belt yourself into the chair at this point. Make sure your wheels are locked, okay? Now, I'm being short. Need a block for my foot. So we're going to start on the right side first. First thing you're going to do is as you turn to the right, you're going to have your right knee face forward. So you want your inner right thigh to face the edge of the chair. So if I turn to the side here, this is what it will look like, looking at your leg. So with the leg here, notice how the whole thigh is lining up to the edge of the seat, okay? The foot's planted on the floor, so this way your other leg can be mobile. This leg will be stable, okay? So now, with my block, I am here. We're going to get the right leg, so the back of the knee is on the chair. You're going to move your left leg back enough so that your groin is right at the edge of the chair. Now, depending upon the length of your leg, it may look a lot different than me. I have very short legs. So now, this foot, your right foot the inner foot has to press down, and your leg has to stay parallel to the edge of that chair. Let this leg drop for a moment, okay? It may even be out over here, but this leg has to stay relatively straight, okay? Now, what you're gonna do here is now you're gonna start to turn away from your bent leg. Keep the knee back, roll your waist and chest over towards your left hip, and then slowly start to extend your left leg. It may not straighten, but be where you are. If you can extend your leg all the way out. So now the inner foot here is pressing down, inner foot here is pressing down. And now as you keep the inner foot pressing down in that left foot, press the outer left foot down also. This leg will remain straight. This leg goes back. And then you take your arms up. So Virabhadrasana II, named Warrior II pose. So you're going to feel a stretch here. Once again, top of the buttock down, sternum, chest lifted, and breathe. Relax your jaw, relax your eyes. Okay, and then to come on out, you're going to bend your left leg, let the knee turn down towards the floor, turn back towards your other leg. Rest there for a moment. Second side. So now when you turn around in your chair, now your left leg will be lining up to the chair. Knee to hip, inner leg following that front edge of the seat. Now you're going to move back far enough so that you start to feel how your buttock comes off the chair a bit, especially this right buttock. Now as you start to turn, keep this knee moving back, turn, revolve your waist and chest away from your leg. This may be where you are. That's fine. But if this is easy enough, then you proceed a little bit further. See if you can take this leg, start to extend it. So now as I press this inner edge of my left foot down, outer edge of my right foot down, now I can work to get my tailbone to go slightly forward, lift my sternum chest, and I keep turning my navel towards my straight leg. Turning my navel, turning my chest. So I'm square, my chest is square with the front of the chair. And then relaxing your jaw, relaxing your eyes. And then if this is easy enough, then you take the arms up. But if not, you work where you are. In the true full pose, you would turn to look over your left hand. Okay, and then you release the arms down. And then start to turn your waist and chest back towards your bent leg. Hold on if you need to. And then work your right leg forward towards your left leg, and then sit for a moment. Okay. So the seventh pose we're going to do is called Virabhadrasana I pose. Okay, so this one you're definitely going to need 2 chairs. They're going to be facing each other once again. Well, not really. One's going to be facing forward, the other one's going to be turned like a stadium seating, like so. Okay? I'm going to show you from the side so you can get a much clearer vision of my legs. So now when I'm here, we're going to take the right leg forward first, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to slide off to your left so that the left leg kind of drops, okay? So now I'm going to be sitting at the left side of the chair, my right leg, I'm going to block again for my foot. So your right foot has to stay planted, so your leg is at a 90-degree angle. So you can see, shin straight up and down, thighs parallel to the floor. You're going to hold on to your chair. So now, as I hold on to the chair, I'm going to curl my left toes back, let my knee drop. So I'm going to feel how this side goes down. Okay, so use your leg here to stabilize you. Now as I get my tailbone to go slightly down, lift my chest, I hold onto the chair with my right hand, I lift the left arm up. So I start to feel this length through the sides of the ribs again, just like you did in the very first pose, and let the knee drop down so you feel this length all through the whole left side of the body. And then release your hand. Help your leg back up. And then when you're ready to do the second side, you switch over to the other side. Okay? If you need something for your foot, take your prop with you. So now when you sit very close to the side of the chair, let the hip drop off the chair slightly. Hold on to the chair so you're supported here. Keep the tailbone and buttock going down, sternum and chest lifted. And now slowly start to take your leg back. Curl the toes behind you, let the knee drop. Open up the front of that hip. Keep your chest lifted. Looking forward. And if you can, you take the arm up. But if not, it's okay. Let the knee go down. So you're going to start to take the tailbone and the buttock, top of the buttock down, sternum, chest lifted, and you pause here. And then hand to the chair, help your leg up, and then sit forward. Okay. The next pose we're going to do, which is the 8th pose here, is called Utthita Trikonasana, which means, Utthita means extended, Trikonasana means triangle pose. In this pose, you're going to have 2 chairs side by side. Okay? Now, what you're going to do here is this. I'm going to move this chair back a little bit. Actually, let's do it on the right side first. I'm going to sit in the left chair. The right chair is going to be slightly behind me. So this way I can take my leg forward. Okay? Be on the edge of the seat. So now with this leg still bent, moving towards the chair, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend forward, take my elbow to the chair. Okay? Knee bent, elbow on the chair. So now I can extend this leg back. Okay? So as the knee goes back towards the chair, I'm going to turn my waist and chest forward, especially these bottom right ribs. Turn those bottom right ribs forward and press your back thigh towards the chair. If this feels stable enough, you can take your arm over your ear. So now you connect your fingers, reach up through the arm away from your head and press the outer edge of that left foot into the floor, and you'll feel how the whole left side of your body is extended quite a bit. And breathe. And then to come on up, take your hand back to your hip, bring this leg forward, press into the chair, inhale, come on up. And then do the second side, just slide over to the other chair. And now move this chair slightly back. Okay, so now your left leg is going to go towards the chair. So I'm touching the chair with the outer edge of my knee, sorry. And now as you lean forward, you're going to take your elbow to the chair. You can hold onto the chair if you need to. So now as you're here, now you're going to start to take this knee out to the side and back. So the back of the thigh is actually going to touch the chair you're sitting on. So this leg is extended, this leg is bent, this knee is moving into the chair, this thigh is moving back into the chair you're sitting on. Now, with your right hand, you can reach the left ribs and roll the waist and chest forward. And breathe. So pressing on the inner edge of that left foot, outer edge of the right foot pressing down, top of the buttock moving away from your lower back, sternum chest still lifted, turning the ribs forward. So get the right ribs, the left ribs to go forward, right ribs to roll back. And then if you feel stable enough, then you can go ahead and take the arm over your ear. And now connect the reach of the arm going over the head to the outer edge of the foot, pressing down to the floor. And then to come on out, take the hand back to your waist. Slowly walk your right foot forward, press into the chair, inhale, come on up, and then turn both feet to face forward. And rest. So even though you're resting in between the poses, make sure that you turn your toes slightly in. Top of the buttock down, sternum chest lifted. So there is a feeling of Tadasana, mountain pose, in between all of these poses. Let Tadasana be your resting pose. Okay. Now, the next pose we're going to do is Viparita Dandasana. Viparita meaning inverted and Danda meaning staff. We're going to do a modified version of this. So for this pose, you're going to need, make sure you have a non-slippery surface. If you have 2 yoga mats, that's even better. You're going to need a chair, but you want a chair that has a flat top and not too high. You don't want like a dining room chair where the chair is like over the top of your head, okay? And you're going to need a yoga mat and a belt. You're going to face the wall, because in this pose, you want to actually have your feet touch the wall. Your other yoga mat, you're going to roll up into a roll. So the best thing to do is to fold your mat in half, okay? And starting from this rolled edge, when you lay it down, roll that edge towards the uneven edge and roll it nice and tight. So when you have it, it looks nice and tight and even here, okay? That is going to go behind your chair, okay? Like so. Now, you will need a belt for your legs. So you're going to have that loop you had from before. You're going to keep that loop. Okay, but now you're going to make it smaller. So what I'm going to do here is I'm first going to just test. I want to sit on the edge of the chair, and you can do this in a wheelchair also, but make sure your feet are at the wall, okay? Your bowl mounts are going to stay on the wall, your heels are going to remain on the floor, okay? Now, If you need an assistant, put your belt over your legs, just over the thighs and above the knees, okay? You're gonna belt your legs together, but not too close together. You want it to be about hip width apart. So if I stand, just about that width, okay? So now once I have the ball mounts of my feet on the wall, my heels on the floor, I'm sitting on the chair. Very important. So now, as I start to lean back, I'm going to hold onto the chair. I'm going to lean back. Make sure that the mat is in between your shoulder blades. And you lean back here. Buttock is still on the chair. Feet are pressing into the floor. And now roll your inner legs down towards the floor and press your ball mounts into the wall. Now with your hands, you're going to interlock your fingers. Take the hands behind the head, just where the skull meets the neck. You're going to cup the back of your head. So now as you lean back, you're going to feel the mat in between your shoulder blades. Now you're going to bring your head down. Now with your elbows, draw your elbows in. Press your legs down, roll the inner thighs in, get your tailbone to go slightly towards your heels, and now take your head back. Lift your elbows up towards the top of your head. So now you start to feel how the front of your body becomes much, much longer. You start to feel how your back chest moves into your front chest, and breathe. Keep the legs active. And then to come on out, you're going to lift your head up a bit with your hands. Take your hands back onto your chair. Hold on to whatever part of the chair you can. And now push down to the chair to lift your chest. Inhale and come back up. Now don't be in a rush to move. Just breathe. And then when you're ready, you can slowly bend your legs. Move your belt. Now you're going to open your belt up. I'm going to turn my chair to face forward so you can see me much better. So now as you face forward, what you're going to do here is you're going to hold the belt buckle in your hand and extend your arms. So notice how I use the belt to keep my chest open. The only difference here is instead of in front of the chest, the belt's going to go behind your shoulders. Okay? So now as I pull the belt apart, you'll feel how your shoulder blades now start to engage. So if I turn to the side here, you can see, so it's not this, it's actually I have to pull so my chest remains lifted and the top of the buttock is still going down. And now sitting on the edge of your chair again, toes in, heels out, so your inner legs are going towards each other a bit, top of the buttock down, sternum chest lifted, and now on an exhale, start to turn towards the right. Keep the belt nice and taut and turn as much as you can. Now when you start to turn, you may notice how all of a sudden that left leg wants to start to go off into space. So press that inner left foot down as you start to turn towards the right. And then come back towards the center. Pause here. Once again, press the inner feet of both feet down. Lift your chest. And on an exhale, turn towards the left. Keep your inner arms rolling towards your outer arms. top of the buttock down into the chair, chest lifted. So keep your chin in line with your sternum, meaning here. You don't want to keep turning the head. Don't let the head lead you. Let the waist, then the chest, and then the head turn last. And then come back towards the center. Once again to the right. So turning the abdomen towards the right, then the left ribs, then the shoulders, and then lastly, when the head is ready, you can turn to look over your right hand. Keep the inner edges of both feet pressing down. And then back towards center. Second time on the last side. Waist, then the chest, then the shoulders, inner feet pressing down, and then lastly you turn the head. So think of your body as like a corkscrew. Start from the base and then turn up. Inhale back towards the center and rest. So pressing the inner feet down, top of the buttock down, sternum, chest lifting. And keep the bottom of your chin level with the floor. Move the face slightly back. Then you can release your belt. Join the palms together in front of your sternum chest. So have the tips of your thumbs touch the sternum. As you get the top of the buttock to go down, lift the sternum chest up. And on an exhalation, release your head down towards your hands. And salute the essence of yoga, the light of yoga, inside yourself. And on inhalation, lift your head, and gazing at the floor in front of you, slowly open your eyes and lift your gaze to look out. Namaste. So stay for everybody and healthy as we keep our social distancing. And I'll see you soon. And don't forget to subscribe and to like.